On today's episode, we're talking about why high income doesn't automatically build wealth and the costly investment pitfalls that often get overlooked. Stay tuned.
Welcome to a Wiser Retirement Podcast, where we cut through the noise and bring you real, honest conversations about investing, retirement, and building lasting wealth. No sales pitches, no gimmicks, just insights to help you stop guessing and start planning your financial future.
Welcome to a Wiser Retirement Podcast. I'm financial advisor Michaela Dowdy, and today I'm joined with Casey Smith, president of Wiser Wealth Management, to discuss 5 investment pitfalls that high earners should avoid. If you like our content, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you podcast today. Hi, Casey.
Hello, Michaela.
How's it going?
Tables have turned. You're on the other side of the table now.
I know.
Well, thank you for putting this together, and I think this will be a great conversation.
Yeah.
You still have jet lag?
I do have a little bit of jet lag still, but yeah, I went to bed very early last night.
Everybody here has been traveling internationally.
Yes, we've had quite a few people traveling here recently.
Did you enjoy your trip? Where'd you go?
I did. Went all over Europe a little bit, which I know people that are Europeans are like, you don't claim you went all over Europe. We're a continent. But went to London and also went to Paris and then finished off the trip in Italy. And so it was great, but a big time difference.
Yeah,
so definitely coming back has been a bit of an adjustment. The jet lag on the way there, though, was not bad.
Oh,
it
really?
was on the way back that I've had a little bit of an adjustment. But
yeah. It takes me a couple of days. We were in Italy for Christmas as a family, and that was going there. Yeah, it was a little weird. That's a long flight.
Yes.
Coming home, I was like, I can't. I need to walk around. This is getting a little claustrophobic.
No.
But yeah, it was. Coming home, I loved it because I got up so early in the morning. I was going to bed at like 8 o'clock, but I was up by 4:30, and I was getting so much done. And then I went on like a guy's ski trip out west, and it just totally flipped me. I was gonna be a morning person forever, and then now I'm back to slowly rolling out at 7 a.m. thinking, I missed 2 hours.
Well, I feel like that's how it is even when like we have time changes. I'm always, like when we go, I guess it's backwards, like fall back. And I'm like, yes, I'm waking up so early now. And then it always adjusts over time. But no, definitely something. What I was not expecting from the flight was I did not wear compression socks, which was like a major no-no is what I've learned because my legs have been
swollen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like finally, I think today they're getting back to where I want them to be, but they were sore, which I guess it's coming from, walking 30,000 steps a day to then sitting on an airplane for 12 hours.
Yeah. That's probably more of that.
Yeah.
But the compression stocks, some people just drink tons of water too to keep well hydrated.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things for
all the little
some
hacks.
People go to the doctor and get pills and they just sleep through the whole thing.
I know, knock yourself out. Oh my goodness. But anyways, today we're talking about investments and the pitfalls that high earners kind of fall into. And I think one of the studies that really pinpointed this for us, and I think you've probably heard this stat if you've been kind of familiar with investing or anything here recently, but 1 in 3 households earning $250,000 or over are still living paycheck to paycheck on average. And so that's just something that, is really a bigger, having a higher earning household in today's economy, but also still, functioning as a paycheck to paycheck household as well.
Yeah. So that's like a whole nother issue. Obviously at a wealth management firm, we don't see too many situations like that because they're coming here with usually with wealth. Right. But I could totally see that. So I guess, the title is a pitfall of high earners. When I think about this, I think one thing is outsourcing. So if you're a high wage earner, you're probably really good at whatever your craft is.
Yep. And
what I find is our industry, financial services, is really bad about coordinating with other professionals.
Yeah.
They say that everyone says they do it, but they don't do it exceptionally well. And that's because, you have an advisor who really just wants to manage money for you. And that's all they really want to focus on. And then some people, high earners especially, will have a separate planner because the asset manager doesn't do planning, and then they have a CPA, and then they have an attorney, and none of these people coordinate with each other. And what happens is the client will assume that that's happening. And what happens is you have people pulling in different directions. The attorney wants to schedule or to set up corporations in this manner for asset protection, but the CPA wants it done a different way for tax efficiency. And then the asset manager typically doesn't even think about taxes. Is contact your tax person and is taking all kinds of capital gains that aren't necessary inside a portfolio or investing you in a very tax inefficient manner. And then you have most people don't have planners, but if you had a planner, they would be screaming the whole time going, none of this is working. So that's kind of what our model has been, is we're planners first, and then we manage assets. We do tax planning in-house, but then we also coordinate with CPAs. We have in-house legal counsel, but also we use outside legal counsel in certain situations. So for us, we see it as people come in. One of our newest clients came in. Everything was kind of a hot mess. I had lots of different business structures that didn't have any rhyme or reason. Had rentals that were getting paid to the wrong LLC. And the CPA probably is trying to. Actually, the CPA was terrible. In fact, no, we didn't do his tax plan. We brought in a CPA to do his tax planning. He found a $400,000 tax error.
Oh my
He got
goodness.
a $400,000 refund because they've been overpaying. That was just 1 year. They haven't gone through the other years yet.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of miscoordination, and what happened. The problem is the client thinks that all these people are coordinating, and they're actually not doing that. So I say that you have to understand why you're doing things, and the more complicated your life gets as a business owner, you have to have someone that just knows how everything's put together.
Yes.
And the why of why it's put together. You really should know that as the business owner. but if you're just really good at building or selling widgets and you don't want to focus on that, you need to hire someone who could be on top of all that.
Yeah, you need your quarterback or your head coach or whomever it may be to really be delegating and really be on top of everything for
Correct.
you.
I always say the client is the head coach, the advisor is quarterback.
Exactly.
And that's a major pitfall that I see. Another one is being overexposed to your own income source. And what I mean by this is business owners, you don't have to be a business owner. You could be an executive or highly compensated individual. You have company stock, you have high wage income, but it's all tied to what you're really good at.
Yeah.
And that's how you become very wealthy. So there's this fine line. It's this fine line of making sure that, as a business owner, what really should be happening, and Donald Miller does a good job of talking about this, is it becomes your cash cow. And so you have money coming after you've built your business to like a mature stage. You're taking those earnings and then you're investing in other things. And that's how you diversify your investment. So it could go into a brokerage account and be invested there. It can be invested in real estate. It could be invested potentially, if you're crazy, into another business, right? So you start another business and it's not related to the first business, and you diversify like that. But we had to be really careful. There's research from JP Morgan that shows that a single stock concentration is one of the largest sources of portfolio risk. Yeah, it's very, very common amongst high earners.
Absolutely. Now, what about for clients that maybe don't own a business, but they're, receiving like employee stock, or, they just are, they work in the tech sector and they're like, tech's going to continue to outperform and continue to perform and all that. And so then they continue to just purchase stock within the same sector that they're working in. Where is that fine line kind of for them?
Buying the stock versus giving the stock, I think, are two different things. Buying the stock is you are doubling down, and people say, oh, I get that 15% discount if they get it. And I don't know. I think that's something you don't do until you've exhausted all other areas of saving, and maybe you come back to it as an added bonus. Now, if it's 15% off of private stock that could IPO, that's a little different story. Yeah. But if it's 15% off stock that's already being publicly traded, I don't know if that's such a big deal necessarily. Depends on what your company does. mean, if you were working at Cube, which was Square, they laid off 10,000 software engineers because AI took their jobs.
Yeah.
And that stock hasn't performed well anyway. So just because you're at a company and it looks like it's growing doesn't mean the company's going to actually grow. You could have a disruptor come in. And what about Spirit airline pilots? Do you think if they were compensated as bonuses with Spirit stock, that'd be worth anything right now? Now you're out of a job and your stock is worthless, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of an extreme example, but I would just say, just be cautious. In some companies, you buying the stock as a sign that you really believe in the mission, and you might get a promotion, or it helps with a promotion potentially. So you do have to play the game a little bit. And so we have to acknowledge that. But when it comes to single stock concentration, I would say you don't want that to be any greater than 10% of your total liquid assets. I think that's a good rule of thumb to stick to.
No, absolutely. And we've even had clients come in where you do have to play that game of, okay, well, we want to balance not having too much of our net worth, established into the same entity that we're already earning our income out of, but also at the same time, because we are, the director of growth here at this company, I do have to show that I believe in the future of this firm. So I do have to, have stock in it and that sort of thing. So you do definitely have to play that ball game, but also, protect yourself in the long run as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't like triple down. Don't have it in your 401k and your brokerage account and you get maybe RSUs or something like that. At some point you have to realize you have to diversify.
Exactly. And I mean, I think that's something that too, like even just seeing out of, clients, sometimes they receive that, their 401k match is with, company stock or something like that. And sometimes we've found that clients don't even realize that's what's happening. And sometimes it works out really well. Other times kind of, like we're saying here, if there is a worst case scenario, it can end up, depleting your retirement savings alongside, not Enron. Only your job. Yeah.
Yeah. Really, after Enron happened, a lot of companies shifted away from employee stock and government pressure. The ones that kept doing it, I kind of shake my head. I'm like, did you not get the memo? But it depends on what the company is too.
Definitely. But just taking a good holistic approach to it. But it looks like your pitfall number 3 here is letting side investments get out of control.
Yeah, I think this kind of goes back to, you think about crypto, angel investing, option trading, real estate deals, things of that nature. What happens is you have a well-diversified portfolio. It's focused on growth. But then you decide to dabble and you put $100,000 in crypto. And next thing you know, that's $500,000 in crypto.
Yeah. And
your portfolio might be worth $3 million. And you're like, you've got way too much in crypto, but then you're emotionally involved in that investment.
Exactly.
Same with the sandbox for individual stocks. People will say, okay, you guys are going to manage all this for me, but I'm going to take care of this and manage it myself. And that's fine. I would say a lot of our clients do have a sandbox account that they trade stock in, but sometimes they'll keep putting more and more. And next thing you know, it becomes a problem. Problem in a couple of areas. One, they have gains that they never really tax loss harvested, right? Yeah. They have losses that this will come back because they're emotionally attached to that investment.
Absolutely.
And you look it up and it's like, there's not one analyst in America that believes that stock's going to come back.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, we're going to move this over to your brokerage account now. And we're going to filter through this and we're going to sort this out. And then let's reduce that account back to where it started. Real estate can get sometimes out of hand. Real estate really, I feel like goes really well or really poorly. We've had people say, okay, I want to do some real estate stuff on the side, and that's fine. They do long-term rentals, and they have people that quit paying, but stay. It takes a little while to get them out, legal fees and such. And we have people who have great experiences. The great experiences keep wanting to add more. Yes. And what happens is, and that's fine. Real estate and stocks are the two things that will keep up with inflation just fine. But the issue becomes they become real estate poor and that they don't have enough liquidity to actually live their life. And they have all this money in real estate and it's generating a positive cash flow, whether there's a mortgage attached to it or not. But it doesn't, you're like, why can't I live on more in retirement? It's like, well, your net worth went up really well over the last 10 years, but you can't get any of that.
Exactly.
And so it might be time to liquidate a property just to create liquidity in your portfolio so you can have monthly income that allows you to go do fun things.
Definitely.
So you just have to be careful that you don't let side things get out of control to where the value is you can't get out of it, basically.
Yeah. And I feel like the kind of common theme between the last two that we've talked about is really just kind of keeping that level head mentality of what is best for the entire picture, not getting too honed in on a single specific, entity or decision or anything like that. And knowing, when is your time to kind of cut the loss or continue to build on that growth and, what makes the most sense for your entire portfolio.
Not all financial advice is created equal. Coming June 10th, Everything Your Financial Advisor Won't Tell You, an eye-opening book that reveals what's really happening inside the financial industry and what it takes to build a plan that actually works. Because what you don't know could be costing you.
Another pitfall I see a lot is highly compensated individuals don't get paid just a W-2. They're getting bonuses, stock options, restricted stock units, deferred comp. All of these can be incredibly invaluable, but typically I don't see a plan with them. Yeah. And it's almost like that's part of their investment strategy, if that makes sense. I have all these RSUs. I have all these. Well, there's no cohesive plan, especially a tax plan. There's no cohesive plan to figure out how do I take these, receive these, and then grow my wealth with it. Precisely. What will happen usually is it becomes a lifestyle. So they have to cash those in to pay for school tuition. They have to cash it in to go on a family vacation. They have to cash it in to do whatever. So what you want to make sure is that if you're a highly compensated individual with a complicated pay structure, that you've mapped all this out, even in our own software. Is our RSUs a part of retirement planning? And usually you have to say no because you realize that, these people are just cashing these things out and just spending them. And maybe that's fine. Maybe you have other compensation that's going other places and your retirement plan works out just fine. I like using RSUs sometimes to eliminate debt, especially on mortgages. So that's not a bad thing, but is it intentional? Do you have or is it just kind of haphazard? Right. So exactly. That's a big thing for highly compensated individuals or families is not having a strategy. Your compensation is more of a tool.
Yeah. And I feel like that's something common that we see as far as, clients will allow kind of debt to accumulate over time just with this thought process of, the bonus is going to come in and we're just going to pay it off. Or, the bonus is going to be here and we're just going to, take care of it. And in some ways, yes, that's fine. But in other ways, it's something that you've now allowed this debt to kind of accumulate on credit cards or whatever it may be, because you're really living beyond your means on a monthly basis. But it's something that that this bonus is going to come in, it's going to be nice, and you're just going to use that to completely pay everything down. But it's just being more intentional, kind of knowing exactly where your dollars are going, because it can then you're just having more costly dollars because they've accumulated that interest over time as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what my 0.5 is. Is probably the most overlooked. It's really ignoring flexibility. So it's ignoring the ability to be able to pivot. You've got too much tied up in illiquid investments, not enough accessible capital, golden handcuffs, which is high income, low freedom. No clear definition of when's enough as far as earnings go. I guess another way to say it is, I tell my kids this all the time. You're rich.
Yeah.
I hate it when people say they're rich. It just sounds so uneducated. They're rich. But you can be a rich person or you can be a wealthy person. And rich people have really high incomes, but they spend everything. And they're not accumulating wealth every year. Their little bar chart of their net worth doesn't go up.
Yeah.
Wealthy people. So rich is very obvious because of lifestyle. Yep. Wealth is hidden. You don't really see it. Maybe some people would say old money, right? Yeah. The old plantation home, you know,
It's like the
200-acre
2010
estate.
Toyota Camry.
The 20-acre estate. I mean, that's old money. That money's been there for generations. That family hasn't worked in generations. Somebody did something really big a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your millionaire next door, multimillionaire next door now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're driving a modest car. They live in a probably a nice neighborhood, but more of a modest home, and they deposit $3 million in their bank account, you know, or in their brokerage account.
Definitely.
They can do anything they want to do, financially speaking. But they have a lot of flexibility. They have no debt or very little debt. That's wealth. Or younger people who are living below their income source, or they're below, like living on 50% of their income. Like one spouse could lose a job and they'd be just fine.
Yeah.
Those people are slowly building wealth, which will compound over time. Yeah. But in today's society, we don't see that. We don't it's almost like we don't really value being fiscally conservative.
Correct. Yeah. And I think that's also just kind of speaking to, you know, I think the keeping up with the Joneses is no longer become you just keep up with your neighbor. It's now, no, I need to keep up with the person that's across the country.
TikTok and Instagram.
Yes, exactly. And so it's just we're constantly being fed this cycle of what you have is not enough. And it's, you know, when you actually really get beyond it, it's something that most of the people that look like they have all this stuff all the time, they take it and then they return it. You know, like they buy it, they make a video with it, and they take it back. Like, you know, that's their game because it's part of their job. But
I saw in the news recently there is some lady on social media that she got arrested for fraud, but she was doing something. She was taking government money. It was like PPP loans or something.
Wow.
And then she was buying all this stuff, and she's all famous on social media. Her Bentley was rented. It was a rented Bentley.
Yeah.
It wasn't even really her. She was just renting the car. She lived in this big place in LA. It was all rented. None of it was hers.
Yeah.
And she was using stolen money from the government to pay for it all.
It's so bad.
And you think about all these people that follow her on social media, you're thinking to yourself, oh, wow, you know, look at this successful person. It wasn't success at all.
No, it's very easy to fake a facade for social media.
Oh, tons of plastic surgery, just tons of plastic. I was spent on that too, which is in LA, right? I guess that's a normal thing. It's like gas stations.
Oh, yeah, I feel like it has to be. I feel like it has to be in LA. They're probably very frequent, actually.
So when you work with young people, do you feel like that? Because you see good incomes. Do you feel like that they're thinking a little differently? I would assume that since they're paying us for a financial planning fee to go through the process, that they are thinking differently. But they are thinking differently,
I would say, for the clients that are coming in, because I think it's something, if you're going to come into a financial advisor or a financial planner, you know, at the time of, you know, you're in your early 30s or even, you know, early 40s and that kind of timeline, that's something where you're making a very conscious decision that a lot of your peers aren't making, quite frankly. And it's something that typically those are the ones that, you know, really are trying to make sure they're setting themselves up for success. And it's something that they're really trying to make sure that, okay, hey, we've dotted our I's and we've crossed our T's and we're saving adequately. But we're also, I think the bigger question that I see more out of a shift of younger clients than I do necessarily some of our clients that are kind of maybe more so approaching retirement is more so of this wanting to, how can I balance enjoying today, but also making sure I'm providing for the future? And it's, you know, how do I make sure that, you know, I am saving enough for, you know, what I want to accomplish for the future? Because retirement might be 30, 40 years away. Right. But also at the same time, how do I make sure I'm not saying no to the things I want to be experiencing now? And I think that's the bigger question. And I think that's a hard question to answer in some ways. Because it's hard to, when you're having, you know, clients that are, you know, newlyweds and, you know, they're about to have their first kid. And, you know, it's something that it's, okay, let's talk about retirement a little bit here because that is your end goal. Yeah. You know, that is what you're here for, because you are wanting to say, okay, yes, we are, you know, about to buy a home, and yes, we're going to do all these other things. But at the end of the day, we also want to know, when do we get to walk away from the workforce? And so I think the big question, though, is just, you know, finding that balance. And I think that's different for every family, you know, what their lifestyle is going to be. Because I have some clients that, you know, they could live and somehow they can travel the world on like $3,000, you know? And I have others that they're like, no, we're going to need a minimum of $10,000 a month.
Yeah, every family's
every family's just a little bit different, and they just have different expectations and that sort of thing. But it is really fascinating kind of to have those conversations and just to see that there is, I think that's the bigger question at this time, is how do we balance both?
Yeah. But I don't think that changes, because I'm picturing some of my review meetings recently where we have families on the other end where they've already retired, but they want to help the next generation.
Yeah.
But they also, they also have all these places that they wish they could go, but they can't because they have to make sure they preserve their assets for the kids.
True. Yeah.
And you're like, no. This is, you can do both.
There's always
and
something.
This is why. Yeah. So I feel like there's always
a balance.
There's always something. The people that are to want to live today, but also save for their future, the kids. Yeah.
But I would say there's a bigger trend, I would say, just on social media and that sort of thing, of people choosing to kind of forego the future.
Yeah.
And to say, no, just live in the moment. You're making a good salary. Just live in what you're doing. And it kind of that YOLO of, way back.
Right.
But, kind of going back to that mindset of, and I think especially in the younger generation, I feel like, especially even with like news cycles and that sort of thing here recently, there's just a lot of negativity in the younger generation as far as what the future is going to look like.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of, well, this might be the best it ever gets, so I'm just going to enjoy it now.
Interesting.
And I think that's a really fascinating, I'm not saying that's clients that are walking in our door, because most of our clients are planning for the future.
The trends you see.
But I would say that's the trends we're more so seeing on social media.
We definitely can't let Social Security fail, because all these people are going to be living only on Social Security.
I don't know about that. I do think you have two areas. I think you just have one end of the spectrum, which always happens. I think there's always just one end and one's the other.
Yeah.
Because I do think there's also statistics on the younger, Gen Zs that are entering the workforce now and have been in the workforce for a few years, that they're actually have been saving more than millennials, or saving more than, is it Gen X above that?
Yeah.
And have more money than anyone has had prior to them. And being able to save.
Yeah.
But also you talk to them and, at different points, it's like, no, I'm broke, so, it kind of depends.
Right.
So I think it just depends on, what sector they're in, where they're working, where they're trying to live too.
Yeah.
Because I think you just have such a disparity between the cost of living in places as well now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. If we could get, 20-year-olds just to max out a Roth IRA. Think how much money that would be for 10 years. And you never saved again after your 30s. You never saved again. Think how much money that would be.
No,
That would compound to be millions of dollars.
It would be. Mm-hmm.
So people forget that.
Yes. Yes.
Or at that age, you're not really listening to your elders anyway. But
yeah.
Yeah. I find that really good savers, though, tend to have parents who are not good savers.
That's another great point. I almost mentioned that.
That is a thing. If your childhood was strapped for cash and you saw your parents making bad decision after bad decision, you're like, this can't be my life. Like, I went out of this life. And those tend to be spreadsheet budgeters and super strict with their money because they grew up in a terrible financial environment.
Exactly.
And usually other things go along with that.
Yep. No, and that is very true. I think that is honestly a majority of the younger clients that we see, that's their story.
Yeah.
Is that they've had, whether it's one spouse, both spouses, whomever it may be, someone's coming in, and that is the main reason, is that they've watched something happen in their own family. Even if maybe it wasn't their own immediate family, they've watched it happen in their own immediate circle.
Right.
And they just want to make sure that that's prevented.
Well, I think getting back to the pitfalls, we kind of went to a different generation there, but I think getting back to the pitfalls is, number one is just, you're really good at what you do, but you need coordination. You need your tax plan synced with your financial plan, synced with your retirement plan, synced with your tax plan, synced with your estate planning. All these things run together. I think that's what we're really good at as a firm, as planners, and piecing all that together so it's all under one roof.
Exactly. No, and you want everyone communicating with each other, because if they're not, then it can just lead to, like you were alluding to earlier, just a lot of complications later down the line, and you just want to make sure everything's buttoned up.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. You want it to create clarity at the end of the day. You want your entire portfolio and everything that you're doing to provide more clarity, not more confusion at the end of the day.
Yep. And that gives you a lot of confidence moving forward. We're headed down. I'm headed down on a day trip down to Florida this week, actually, in a situation where husband passed away very early. And it's not a complete upside down mess. It could be a lot worse, but being in Florida, we're going to have to go through probate. And this was not a client. This client came to us after this happened. And it's just like a case study, and like, you gotta have things buttoned up. And I don't know that they would have had known enough information if they hadn't gotten with a planner, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a reminder of me of why podcasts like this are important. Because we want to tell our clients and the people who maybe haven't even met us yet, hey, you need to get organized. You need to get your stuff together.
Exactly.
I'm having to do a lot of cleanup in a not so nice situation. That's our job. It's what we do, but it was all preventable. So
definitely. And that,
but on a happier note, we're all here ready to help.
Yes, exactly. We're here. But definitely something though that you want to make sure everything's buttoned up. I think that's something too, that even just having conversations with clients on making sure things are getting done. You almost have to think of it as, especially clients have kids, it's like, you're doing this for your children. And I think that like sometimes shifts the perspective a bit.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like parents, you're so much more like apt to do something if it's for your child and not necessarily for yourself. It's just a natural selflessness that comes from parents.
I think I've used that trick one time. I was about to come out of the conference room chair and just like strangle this husband one time, but he was like, why should I get estate planning done? He's like, I'm not here. Like, it doesn't affect me. I was like, whoa. And you can see the wife kind of sitting there kind of looking at me, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I was like, well, you have children, you have responsibilities.
Yeah.
You got married, you have responsibilities. So it's it's your responsibility to do these things.
Yes.
Right? It's your job.
Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly.
And yeah, within the year, we were able to convince him that he should pay for his
worthwhile.
own. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's funny though. But overall, everything kind of today, just making sure that you're making the right decisions, making them with a clear head, making sure everything's, buttoned up, and, you're still creating that flexibility that you need at the end of the day, as well for living. And so overall though, any last thoughts from you, Casey?
I think I just made them, but, basically just, make sure that as successful as you are, that you have a comprehensive plan in place addressing your estate, addressing your tax strategy, your savings for the future, and then how you're building wealth.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to the podcast and you wish to be in that phase, then I'd say focus on eliminating debt. Focus on, you still need the basics. You probably need life insurance. Make sure if something happens to you, your family's going to be okay. But the important thing is that you cut expenses, you do some hard things for a little bit, and then you'll eventually make your way to this position.
Definitely. And if you want to hear more about kind of what we're talking through, we have some other episodes that are similar. So episode 268, top financial mistakes and how to avoid them. And then episode 278, which is avoid these common mistakes after receiving a large inheritance. We also have some financial education videos, so common mistakes to avoid with Social Security spousal benefits, and then financial habits to avoid in retirement. So thank you for listening to today's episode. If you're interested in learning more about Wiser Wealth Management or want to schedule a consultation to meet with one of our fiduciary financial advisors, you can do so by going to wiserinvestor.com, or you can click the link in the episode notes. Don't forget, again, if you like our content, feel free to leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you podcast.
Thanks for listening to a Wiser Retirement podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening. That way you don't miss any new episodes. We'd also appreciate if you could leave a rating and review. If you have any questions about anything that was discussed today, head to wiserinvestor.com and reach out. This podcast is strictly for informational purposes only and is not to be considered as investment advice or solicitation to buy or sell any financial products, securities, digital assets, or any other investment vehicles, or a basis to make any financial decisions. Wiser Wealth Management Incorporated is a registered investor advisor with the SEC. The host and/or guests may personally own securities, digital assets, or other investment vehicles mentioned on this podcast. Neither the host nor guests of the show are compensated for their participation, and no referral fees are paid to or received by any host or guest for clients, listeners, or similar interests. Investments involve risk, and unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor, tax professional, insurance professional, and/or legal professional before implementing any strategy discussed herein. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.